Do the thing. Do the thing. Come on.
Welcome to the weekend roundup, where we recap every series from the weekend that was here on the Just Baseball show. Jack, we're back to doing the fingers. What's up?
I'm in on doing the finger thing. I love just like kind of the roundup gesture that I make while you just give me the growl.
I also want to say that I really appreciate you because Aram doing the weekend roundup, the analysis is fantastic from him per usual.
Doesn't lean
But
into it.
but your analysis is just as phenomenal. And he doesn't lean into it like you do. You
Yeah,
make me feel good about myself. Arm's sitting over there like the cool cat, can't get into the vibe that is the weekend roundup.
yeah, I'm way too chill. I'm way too chill to be involved in the weekend roundup. Hey, did you see Matt Holliday throw out the first pitch to Jackson Holliday before we get into this?
I did not.
That was like best moment. I'm not going to say best moment of the baseball season, but that was like one of the cool punch in your gut moments in the baseball season. I saw in the Just Baseball group text that you guys were talking about the first guy to give you a foul ball or
Oh
anything
yeah.
like that, right? Your
Yeah.
first baseball. And it's funny that you guys were having that conversation the same weekend that Matt Holliday threw out the first pitch to his kid in Colorado. Because the first ball that I remember getting, apparently Lyle Overbay tossed my like toddler self a foul ball once. But the first foul ball or the first ball that I remember getting, Matt Holliday in Denver made a diving catch, running off the field, tosses it to me, tosses it to my dad, who gives it to me. And the next day we wake up, watch Sports Center, he's in the top 10 plays. I was like, that's the coolest thing ever. And to see Matt Holliday wearing that black sleeveless Rockies jersey, throwing out a first pitch to his kid, this is so ridiculously awesome. And it was just like, it was one of those moments that makes your heart burst for baseball.
100%. My first ball that I was ever thrown to, I think I was like 11 or 12. I was with my dad at the Coliseum in Oakland. We were watching A's versus Yankees. And I'm down the third base line, and the guys are all playing catch. The Yankees are. And I see Freddie Garcia. And Freddie Garcia was with the Yankees for a little bit. And I always thought he was like a pretty good pitcher. And I'm yelling, Freddie, Freddie, just screaming at him. And he looks up and he goes to like throw me the ball, but then he actually like runs towards me and hands it to me, and he said, thanks, kid, nobody ever screams my name. And I was like, you're the man, dude. That was awesome. So shout out Freddie Garcia, permanent Peter Apple brain legend Freddie Garcia.
So that's the thing, man. You latch on to all these guys. Like I latched on to Matt Holliday when I was young. I latched on to Lyle Overbay when I was young. I latched on to Gordon Beckham when I was young. I latched on to Alex Rios because they all like gave me that moment where I'm like, wow, you're a person.
Alex Rios, great Paul. I mean, that's
Great.
a good name because he was good, but nobody remembers him, but he was good.
He was the Blue Jay after Vernon Wells. Like Vernon
Yes.
Wells was the Blue Jay, and then it was Alex Rios.
Alex Rios was the Lordy Scurriel Jr. before the Lordy Scurriel Jr.
Yeah, sick comp.
That is
I'm
a good
here
comp.
for that comp. We can start the if you want. You cool with that?
But first, it is brought to you by BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Remember, folks, download BetMGM on iOS or Android and use promo code JustBaseball. Why? You get a first bet offer up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if it loses. Now, if it wins, congratulations. You won a freaking bet. I'm currently sweating out Braves versus Phillies. We got them on Sunday Night Baseball. We got the Braves money line. So hopefully by the end of this podcast, I'm very, very happy because, again, we are recording late in the night to get you a summary of every series that was from the past weekend. We got takeaways, we got everything. Let's take care of you right now and give you the weekend roundup.
Oh, look at Peter, Mr. I have a bedtime apple saying late in the night. It's 8:49. You're fine.
I've historically been a morning person. I have never really been that great at night. So some of my worst takes come on the weekend roundup because I don't remember them because I kind of black out at this time.
Welcome to Working in Sports, Bubby. It's
I
time to
know.
snap into action. Nights and weekends, holidays. Happy Labor Day, by the way, people.
Happy Labor Day, everybody.
We'll start with mine because I'm naturally appointing myself first go at this, and then
And
Peter.
I have the Sunday Night Baseball series to recap, so that'll be at the end anyway.
There we go. All right, let's start with Cubs and Nationals in Washington. It's a Cubby sweep, and wouldn't you know, the Cubs are putting up 99 runs in their last 10 games, if I'm not mistaken. Now, granted, they have seen several innings with position players on the hill. I think they saw Rowdy Tellez twice in a 3-game set. But man,
Who
at the
gives
end
a
of the
shit?
day,
I mean,
they're
who gives a
scoring
shit?
runs.
Yeah,
They're
they are
scoring
hot as
runs.
shit. Yes, absolutely.
And it was an 8-1 road trip for the Chicago Cubs. Game one went to the Cubs, obviously. Dylan Cruz with his first career home run. It came on a Shota Imanaga fastball that was awesome to see. A fly ball to the pull side, something James Wood didn't do for what, 35 games to open his big league career, and Cruz does it in his first week. Cody Bellinger homered. Jake Irvin got killed. Shota K'd 8 in 6 innings, a 3-run ball. The Nats got 3 in the ninth to make it interesting. Game two, 5-3 Cubs. Cubs got a 4 spot at the top of the fifth. Andre Chaparro homered. DJ Hers, meh. Assad, meh. Porter Hodge locked it down. That might be a reliever. I don't want to say closer, but like that might be a big league reliever for the Chicago Cubs. Game three, it looks a lot worse than it was. 14-1 Cubs. The Cubs out hit the Nats 18-5. It was a 7-run top of the ninth. So it was 7-1 going into the ninth, and then the Cubs piled on. They did it against 2 arms, though. They jumped on Zach Brisky in his MLB debut. He was a September call-up for Washington. The Cubs did this all. They plated 14 runs with how many homers, Peter Apple?
0, right?
0 homers.
Yeah.
Jordan Wicks, 5 innings, 1 run, no Ks, no walks. Jordan Wicks, just batted ball guy.
Love that
Dansby
kind of outing.
Swanson,
Love that
right?
outing. Just
Hilarious.
roll it
So,
over. Because
so gritty.
that type of outing, I feel like would make the opposing team more mad than striking out 15 times. Like,
No
damn
doubt, dude.
it.
I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm looking at Yusei Kikuchi and then Jordan Wicks. I'm like, dude, the fact that you guys excelled on the same day in the same sport is hilarious. Dansby Swanson had a 4-hit game on Sunday. PCA had 3 hits. Hap, Seiya, Isaac Paredes, Nico Horner all had 2 hits. Miguel Amaya, Bellinger, Nico, 2 RBIs. Isaac Paredes had 3 RBIs. You're right, man. Yeah, you put it as eloquently as I can. Cubs are hot as shit right now.
Hot as shit. They've won 9 of their last 10 games. They are now 71 and 66, 3.5 games back of the Atlanta Braves, and just 2 games behind the Mets for that 4th wild card team. Of course, there's only 3, but to even be in the conversation right now shows how hot the Cubs have been, because only a few weeks ago, we were talking about, and by we, I mostly mean me, Cubs season is kind of over. They kind of stink.
Dude, I remember you said, like, hey, the Cubs are just not good. And I
They
was like,
aren't,
I agree with you.
because it was the offense that was so lethargic. It's like I knew that the starting pitching wasn't going to be elite, but I knew it was going to be pretty good. I knew the bullpen wasn't great, but I thought it could potentially just hold some leads. The bullpen was not holding leads, and the offense, there was just no impact in the lineup. They bring over Isaac Paredes from the Rays, never really gets going. And I'm thinking to myself, is Seiya Suzuki going to lead this team? But it hasn't just been Seiya. That's the point of what is making now the Cubs so good. It's 1 through 9. They're all hitting. And I know I brought this guy up last time, but PCA has a 933 OPS in the month of August while playing elite defense. Like, that
Yeah, dude.
is unbelievably enormous for the Cubs. Because if you can get production from the bottom, that is what can make the Cubs go. Nico Horner finally starting to get going. Dansby finally starting to get going. Like, these guys need to hit for the Cubs to be competitive. And now they're hitting almost above their weight class. They're all just pillaging baseballs. And look at how the Cubs are playing right now. Baseball and Wrigley is kind of sick right now. I'm getting fired up. I am. When teams go on runs like this and makes the races even closer, I'm all for it. I love Cubs baseball right now.
Dude, Skeens and Steel on Tuesday night.
Mm,
Tomorrow night at Wrigley. Skeens, Steel. Fire me up for that. Come
mm.
on now. Let's go to the next one here.
Skeens better not have a pitch count for that one. I want to see full Skeens go and full Steel go and just see what happens.
They both go 7 innings of 1-run ball. Skeens solo shot to PCA. Steel solo shot to Yasmani Grandal.
Also, I think I'm right, but I might be wrong. Isn't this the fourth time Skeens has faced the Cubs this year?
I think
He
so.
has, doesn't he have like
faced
13 or
twice.
14 starts? He's faced
Yeah,
Cubs
I mean,
4 times.
feel bad for these Cubbies. Like they just got to run into this buzzsaw.
I think
And
they've
that
hit
was
him.
his first. That was his Skeens is here start though. He
Yeah,
debuted against the
yes.
Cubs at Wrigley, but then or at PNC, and then at Wrigley was when he went 6 no hit, and it was just unbelievable.
Yeah, I'm sure if we're able to talk to Paul Skeens after the season is over, be like, "How was your 2024 season?" He's like, "I don't remember anybody else. I faced the Cubs every fifth day."
Faced the Cubs a lot,
Yeah.
a lot. Let's go to Boston and Detroit in Detroit. This was a Tigers series win, 2-1. Game 1 was the Red Sox win, 7-5 in 10. Jaron Duran had 3 hits with a homer in the 10th. Gary Carpenter, a 3-run home run. Connor Wong, Cedon Rafaela homered as well. Cedon and Duran's homers came in a 3-run top of the 10th for the Red Sox. Tanner Houck went 6 shutout with 6 Ks. Game 2, 2-1 Detroit. The scoring was done after the second. The Red Sox only run against Tarek Skubal, you guessed it, came in the top of the first on a solo shot from Tyler O'Neill. The line on Skubal, 8 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, 8 Ks, no walks. Skubal is now 16-4, and when he won that game, that pushed the Tigers to a game above 500. A team that is 1 game over 500, for the sake of the exercise, a 500 team has a pitcher with a 16-4 record. He leads Major League Baseball in wins. He leads Major League Baseball with a 2.51 ERA. He leads Major League Baseball in strikeouts. Trey Sweeney with a 2-run double, too. Game 3, before we get back to Skubal, because he was the star of this show. 4-2 Detroit. 4 runs on 3 hits for the Tigers, 2 of which supplied all the run support. 2-run home runs from Spencer Torkelson and Riley Green. Cooper Criswell went 4 perfect with 5 Ks. He was, obviously limited. They weren't going to let him go longer than that. Rich Hill came on in the 5th and looked 44 years old. The Tigers went opener with Brant Herter as the long man. He went 5 innings, a 1-run ball. Story here is Skubal, no doubt about it. We're running out of positive things to say about Skubal because we're just regurgitating the same thing over and over and over again. He's the best pitcher on the planet.
If he ever pitches over the weekend, we're just like, "Yep, you're the best. You would continue to just be the best." I have a few more points, new points, at least I hope, to bring up about Skubal.
I've got one. Torque has been a different guy since coming back from AAA.
Yes, he has. Yes, he has. He's hitting the ball hard too, finally. Oh, watching him this is a guy. Again, with Torque, we've talked about Spencer Torkelson so many times on the podcast, so I don't want to regurgitate the same thing. But if we remember, couldn't have been higher on him out of Arizona State. Thought he was just one of the best college hitters I'd ever seen in my entire life. Better rookie of the year, unbelievable hype from me. And just, it hasn't materialized. But again, not giving up on the guy. Still under 25 years old. He's still got so much time to tap into that power, and we're finally starting to see it. But I have a couple of takeaways, one from each team. Or unless you finish the series, right?
Yeah, I finished the series.
Okay, that's what I thought. Skubal's starting pitcher number 1 in the league. Agree or disagree?
Agree. The title of best pitcher on the planet, and I've had this gripe for a while, and DeGrom held it for a long time, and Trout held it for a long time because we were scared to give it to somebody else.
Yeah.
I think hitter shouldn't change that often. Although, it's really tough with Judge and Ohtani right now. It's like, oh, who is it? But best pitcher on the planet, I think, should be changing all the time.
It's such a volatile position these days.
So fluid. Like it was last year, I went from DeGrom to Shane McClanahan to Garrett Cole. And now I've gone from Cole to Skeens to Skubal. And I'm like, okay, this makes sense.
Yeah, the only person, the people competing right now with Skubal for starting pitcher 1 is Chris Sale and Zach Wheeler. And Skubal's just been better than them.
Yeah.
So Skubal is number 1 pitcher in Major League Baseball right now. But what makes that even cooler, they have the number 1 pitching prospect in baseball as well in the minor leagues, in Jackson Jobe.
Yeah.
So if I'm a Tigers fan right now, thank the good Lord above. The good Lord above might be a Tigers fan, because if the Tigers decided to trade Skubal, it could have been the biggest package ever to the Orioles or whatever. building block. Him and Job for the next decade got to stay Tigers for a really long time. My other takeaway is
Real quick,
go ahead.
gotta pay him. Gotta pay Scooble.
Yeah.
I think it's 2 years of control after this.
I mean, yeah, if you have the money to pay Javier Baez 140 million, you now have no
Detroit
excuse.
has the money. I know Detroit has.
You have no excuse.
Yeah.
Second takeaway. Do you know who's fourth in F WAR this season? I'm gonna read you the top three: Judge, Bobby Witt, and Juan Soto.
Duran has played elite defense.
Jarren Duran is number 4 in F WAR in Major League Baseball. This guy has had a superstar level season. 21 home runs, 32 steals. Now, I don't know if he's going to get to 30-30. I don't know if the home runs are going to be there, but 25-40 could be in his future. He's hitting 295, 354, 531 with a 141 WRC plus and elite defense. This was supposed to be an outfield. Like, this was a guy who lost the ball in the lights, and Red Sox fans wanted to run him out of town. And now he's the best player on the team by F WAR. So funny how things can change. And furthering that point, this outfield, maybe even a year or two ago, it was projected to be Rafaela, Roman Anthony, Willie Abreu potentially. Like Jarren Duran, after the really rough start for him, I don't think he was really in the plans. This was a big prove-it year for Jarren Duran because you have these young guys coming up the pipeline. I mean, the Red Sox have so many bats in their system, and they just have so many bats on their team. But Jarren Duran's been the best of all of them. I think it's a pretty incredible story. He's just been so good on every side of the ball. Base running, hitting for power, hitting for average, walking enough for it to matter, playing great defense. Just shout out Jarren Duran. What a season.
So Jarren Duran is, I almost never play this game. He is as red as you can find on Savant.
Yeah.
There's nothing he does poorly.
Yep.
Nothing. He is the best base runner in Major League Baseball by Savant's base running metrics. He's one of the better defenders in all of baseball. He's one of the better hitters in all of Major League Baseball. And I love the point that you make because you're always game planning for the future. And whether it's fair or not, and Fenway Sports Group, whether they do it or not, I think when we looked at the 3-year plan of the Boston Red Sox outfield coming into this year, or maybe even halfway through last year, giving Duran the benefit of the doubt, because at the end of the day, like his year last year was fine. It was pretty good. This has been a totally different Jarren Duran. And I say, like, giving Fenway Sports Group the benefit of the doubt. I always thought free agent was going to finish the outfield. Always thought free agent was going to be in the 2026 plan for the Boston Red Sox when they're ready to compete fully again. That's not the case anymore. Cedon's going to play one of the better center fields that you'll see in Major League Baseball. Duran is going to handle the monster like anybody. And Roman Anthony and Wright creates this outfield from hell for the rest of the American League East, dude.
Where does Willie Abreu go?
DH?
I guess.
But Willier is an awesome defender too, is he not?
Maybe you just put Rafaela at second because there's still you don't know if it's going to be Vaughn Grissom. I don't know if it's David Hamilton, but it's a
Willier's
great problem to have.
It's an awesome problem to have.
Because Willier, I'm DHing him. He's got a freaking hose out there and right too.
Yeah, he's 88th percentile in fielding run value by Savant. I mean, dude, they have a gluttony of riches on their hands in Boston, and that has to be so exciting for the disappointment that has come over the last several seasons since that LCS run.
You could trade it for pitching, or you could just stack bats. You could do whatever the hell you want. It'll be very intriguing. Like I am,
the Boston Red Sox pay pitching.
The Red Sox, I think, are going to be one of the top 3 or 4 fascinating teams during this offseason. Because I want to see if they actually go all in with this core right now. Because, Rafael Devers is not going to be in his prime forever, right? You signed him to a big extension, but you want to capitalize on this. You want to capitalize on Duran. You want to capitalize on all these young guys taking the next step. Like, I think we got to go in now.
Dude, let's play this game right now by mid-June of 2025. And I think that's being conservative. Talking about Kyle Teal catching, Costas at first, Christian Campbell, who's been one of the better performers in all of minor league baseball at second.
True, he could play second. I'm talking about moving Rafael to second. Like, no, right. Campbell's been insane. Marcelo Meyer at short, Devers at third, Duran in left, Rafaela in center, Abreu in right, Roman Anthony is the DH. That's elite.
That's a 2K team. That is an awesome team. It is so exciting on paper. Let's see it translate over 162. I have a lot of confidence that it will. And you're the Boston Red Sox. Pay pitching. Go buy pitching.
Everyone's talking about the Orioles having a gluttony of hitting prospects. Their
The
rivals got a gluttony too.
I know the good news for the Red Sox is they're all in the upper minors.
Yeah, they're all coming.
They're all here, essentially.
And I like that all of them don't have a guaranteed spot. Like they can't skate to the starting role because their team is so bad.
No, dude,
They
you're
all
playing
have to
Story.
earn it.
Like Story, you swap out Story for Marcelo Meyer. You swap in Story for Marcelo Meyer, and Meyer needs another 3 months in AAA. Okay, cool.
Okay, sure.
Works.
Fine.
Twist my arm.
All right, let's keep it moving.
Let's keep it moving to the Pirates and the Cleveland Guardians. This one was a 2-1 Cleveland series win. Game one went to Cleveland 10-8. Down 4-0 after four. The Pirates got six in the top of the fifth, but then the Guards responded for four in the bottom of the fifth. O'Neill Cruz, Andrew McCutchen, 3 RBIs each. McCutchen and Rowdy Tellez homered. John Kensey Noel homered. Big Christmas, stand up. Andres Jimenez, he also homered. Andrew McCutchen's homer came off Emmanuel Clase, whose ERA ballooned to 0.71. He got his 40th save.
Yep.
Game two, 3-0 Pittsburgh. Luis Ortiz, that has been an international free agent masterclass from the Pittsburgh Pirates. 6 innings, 1 hit, no runs. ERA on the year sits at 3.19. Problem was, Matt Boyd was really freaking good. 6 innings, a 1-run ball, 8 Ks, no walks. The 2-run single from Rowdy Tellez in the 8th gave the Pirates that difference and then some, gave them that insurance after the first run came in and the only run against Matt Boyd. Game three, 6-1 Cleveland. Cleveland out-hit the Pirates 13-2. Alex freaking Cobb, perfect through 6, ended up 6 innings plus with an unearned run. And then you turn it over to that bullpen, man. Even without Clase throwing, Cade Smith, Hunter Gaddis, Tim Herron, no hits in the 7th, 8th, and 9th.
So
Mitch Keller got beat around the ballpark again. 5 1/3, 11 hits. Andres Jimenez had a home run. Jose Ramirez, 34th homer of the year. If you're watching, 34 homers, 34 stolen bases. And Kyle Manzardo, man, after being recalled as one of the September call-ups, a multi-homer day against the Pirates. I know they fell and they were shut out on Saturday. This was an incredibly encouraging series from Cleveland for me.
absolutely. And you look up at the standings again, and the Guardians are 3.5 games up of both the Twins and the Royals here.
Problem for Kansas City was they ran into the wrong team, but more on that in a moment.
Exactly. More on that in a moment. No, I just wanted to highlight the pitching performances from Cleveland because damn it, did they need it. Matthew Boyd, Alex Cobb, bringing 2 veterans who, again, when your bullpen is that good, all you need is 5 innings, 2 runs. That's all you need. Even 5 innings, 3 runs. Keep the team in the game so the bullpen can shut the door and it can allow the offense to get back into the game. That's the recipe for Cleveland.
Yep.
And they got 2 of them. And I loved them bringing in Alex Cobb. Nobody really cared about that, but I was like, that guy is going to work in Cleveland. And now he's been hurt a little bit, hasn't looked great. That's the start I'm looking for. And Matt Boyd has just been awesome since coming over to the Guardians. So the pitching performances, I think, for Cleveland, like if I'm a Cleveland Guardians fan, the wins are very, very important, but it's the 2 performances from those 2 guys that I'm thinking to myself, all right, I feel better about this team moving forward.
Yeah. I don't, so it was Glenny Balls at Barstool that said this that I thought was hilarious. I think I saw it on a Sunday Conversation. I never miss a Sunday Conversation. I think those are awesome with Caleb Presley, like when they sit down with all those people. The Kodak Black Sunday Conversation is the most out of bounds thing that I think I've ever seen, and I loved it. But I think he said this on a Sunday Conversation. His like ideal burger, his dream burger, is an elevated Big Mac. So he's looking for something that is like Big Mac adjacent, but obviously nicer. So like Au Cheval, like elevated Big Mac, right? You want, you know, the meat and the bun and all that. You want that, you know, sauce type vibe. You just want something that's like a Big Mac, but obviously way better in restaurant grade.
What was the word that you used? Au cheval? I've never heard of that in my life.
Au cheval, like small cheval, au cheval. You've never heard of that? Is it a
Not once.
Chicago thing? I think
I
it's a
don't know.
Chicago. It's the best burger in the city of Chicago.
Oh,
Au cheval.
really? Okay.
I thought New York had them for some reason, but I guess
Maybe
not.
they do. I've just never heard of it.
What's the best burger in New York?
Um, I mean, 7th Street Burger gets a lot of hype and it is good. Little greasy for my taste. Like, I think Shake Shack is as good as any burger in the country.
That's
In-N-Out's
that's
In-N-Out's the
insane.
clear number one,
That's
obviously.
insane.
Well, because
I'm talking like
I'm not
real
gonna
restaurant thing.
I don't I'm not a restaurant burger guy. Like when I go to a restaurant, I never get one of their fancy burgers where it's the thick Angus patty and it's cooked medium rare. Like congratulations, that's not my kind of burger. I need a smash burger. I want American cheese. I want pickles, onions and lettuce, a toasted bun and put it in like a paper bag. That's
Interesting.
the way you should be eating burgers.
So I love the restaurant burger. I don't do it often because I feel like it's socially unacceptable to like go out and get a cheeseburger every time in a
It's like,
restaurant.
and especially in New York, I don't want to spend
Yeah,
18
fair.
to $22 on a burger.
Fair, but like for me, it's either that or the $38 salmon, and I'm like, ah, shit. Well, might as well save $20 and still enjoy it. But
That's a good point.
he used the term elevated Big Mac. He looks for something that's Big Mac adjacent but restaurant grade. And the reason that I brought that up is because the Cleveland Guardians starting rotation, what they need to do is the elevated Brewers thing.
Yep.
They have the Brewers situation here, and I like it more because it's restaurant grade. Why is it better than the Brewers thing? Maybe because there's a bunch of precedent for all these guys, and Savali lacks the precedent that an Alex Cobb does, and Tobias Myers lacks the precedent that a Matt Boyd does. But I see a frontline guy in Bybee that's better than Milwaukee's frontline guy in Freddie Peralta, and I see the complementary pieces that are better than the complementary pieces in Milwaukee.
Yeah, I think the Brewers' offense is better than
Do
the
they have a 40
Guardians.
40 guy?
What would you say?
Do they have a 40-40 guy?
They have the best run differential in baseball.
Yeah, but half of that is the pitching.
I'm just saying. They have an electric offense. This offense has been so good all year. We can't poo-poo the offense because I can understand you saying I don't have faith in the pitching. There's a reason that this team is so good. And I think it's really been the offense and the defense and the bullpen. But I agree with you. Like, I just have more faith, and it might sound crazy, in a Matthew Boyd over a Tobias Myers. I have more faith in an Alex Cobb over an Aaron Savali. Now, then you get to Colin Ray, who it's like he doesn't have a precedent either. Am I going to say, like, I've seen Gavin Williams have crazy upside?
So I will say right now, I side with the Colin Ray start over the Gavin Williams start. At this very
Yeah, I do too. I do too. They win that one, but we're splitting hairs too.
I know, but like that's a really momentous occasion here because I just conceded that Colin Ray is at this point, at this moment, like this day, September 2nd, that you're listening to this, better than Gavin Williams in a one game right now.
I see. I'm just such a Gavin Williams guy. Like if he figures it out, like I think he's crazy good.
And he could figure it out next week.
Yeah.
But right now, I side with Colin Ray if I got to give the ball.
I would too. I would too. Definitely.
So let's go to Oakland and Texas. This was fascinating series. Game one, 9-2 Oakland. I saw these home run totals for the A's, and I was just like, I forgot how many homers you've hit. Brent Rooker hit home runs number 32 and 33 on the year.
Yeah.
J.J. Bleday hit his 20th. Shea Langoliers hit his 23rd. Bleday's was a 3-run shot. J.P. Sears, Yankee cast-off, 7 innings, 1 run. Game two, 3-2 Texas. Again, a total that you would not expect. Lawrence Butler hit his 20th homer this year, but Leody Taveras had the walk-off single for the Texas Rangers. Cody Bradford, 7 innings, a 2-run ball. Jonah Heim homered as well. Game three, 6-4 Texas in 10. Tied at 2 through 9. The A's plated 2 in the top of the 10th, but Texas got 4 in the bottom of the 10th, capped off by a walk-off 3-run home run for Josh Young off of a Mason Miller 101.7 mile an hour heater up and out. I was craziest swing of the weekend. There's no doubt about that. Given the moment, given the circumstance, and given where the fuck the pitch was and how fucking hard that pitch was, absolutely insane what Josh Young did.
So my one takeaway is not about Josh Young, even though that was one of I think the best walk-off home run in terms of how hard it was to hit that individual pitch. And it was 4-2. They were, or it was, what was the final score? It was 6-4. They were down 4-3, and that was a 3-run home run. Exactly. So, but my takeaway is the same takeaway that I've been having for the Rangers for the last 3 weeks, month, maybe longer. But I'm going to keep saying it because not enough people know this guy's name yet. And he keeps shoving every single time we do the weekend roundup. Cody Bradford, again. I mean, how many times do I have to tell people about this guy? 3.21 ERA, 3.45 expected ERA. He's got a 3.7% walk rate. George Kirby's at 3.2. This guy throws strikes, and he's also got a pretty good strikeout rate, 23.7%. That's above average. 36.7% hard hit rate. That's above average. He does everything that I wanted a pitcher. Four-seam changeup curveball. He's not going to blow it by you. He's throwing it 90 miles an hour, but he's throwing the ball wherever he wants. He's getting soft contact, extends down the mound so that 90 looks a little bit better.
Yeah.
And he's throwing it wherever he wants. Like, this guy's a real pitcher. Real pitcher. 26 years old, big time frame, 6'4", 200 pounds. This guy's good.
It's cool, man, because like we were fully convinced that the Rangers were going to function as a retirement home for pitchers. Like we thought it was a senior center because it was DeGrom and Scherzer and like Eovaldi is in his mid-30s. I mean, shit, like John Gray, perceived 35-year-old John Gray. I know he's like 30, but perceived 35. Heaney perceived 37. Dane Dunning perceived 40.
I know, you just got sent down.
Yeah. I mean, there's just no space for that, and it sucks that the Rangers are out of it, and they have probably been the disappointment of the season, I'd say.
Yeah, they won the World Series and now they're 10 games under 500.
Yeah, but I'm hung up on Toronto. I'm really hung up on Toronto.
Nah, you won the World Series. The Rangers have been worse than the Blue Jays.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, and they won the World Series last year. It's not even close, in my opinion.
It's that AL East thing, man. I'm just like, you suck.
You're just a hater.
Yeah, I am. I totally am. Just hate Canada in general. Although I love Toronto. If I could live anywhere in the world, it's Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, if I could live anywhere in the world, Vancouver.
Interesting. I don't know if I could live anywhere in the world. I don't even know if I have an answer to that.
Interesting. New York City, Chelsea.
No.
Where are you in? Tribeca.
Probably like where LeBron James's mansion is, like in the hills of LA. I mean, that is the most beautiful place ever. Like, yeah, that if I had all the money in the world, that's where I'd live, most likely.
What a stock ass answer. I want to live in
it is what it is. If you've been there, you know.
Yeah, no, I haven't been there, so I don't know, but I'm going to make fun of you. Okay, let's go to Kansas City and Houston. This was phenomenal series. Houston sweeps a 4-game set, and dude, it felt tight. Let me tell you that. But the Astros took care of business. Game 1, 6-3 Houston. Lucas Erceg had his first blow up in Kansas City with 3 earned. Got just 1 out in a 4-run bottom of the 8th for Houston. Ryan Presley, Josh Hader, they shut it down. Brady Singer, 6 innings, a 2-run ball. Hunter Brown, 6 2/3, 2 unearned runs, no earned against him. Jason Hayward, newest Astro, a 2-run double. Kyle Isbell, a bases clearing double in that one for Kansas City, was the only run production. Game 2, 3-2 Houston. Ben Gamel homered because of course he did. And then we just kind of hung out until the bottom of the 8th. Jeremy Pena with a sacrifice fly made it 2-0. In the top of the 9th, Paul DeYoung took Josh Hader deep to tie the game at 2-2. Then bottom of the 9th, Jose Altuve with the walk-off double to score Jake Myers. Question before we move to Game 3, Game 4. How many home runs does Paul DeYoung have this year?
18.
24.
Oh,
crazy, right?
Home runs.
I know. A 901 OPS in 23 games with Kansas City. This was a pitcher's duel. It lived up to it. Seth Lugo, 7 innings, 1 run, 9 Ks. But Framber Valdez, dude, oh my God. Again, 7 no-hits, 7 Ks. Fromber in 8 starts post All-Star break. Opponents are hitting 146. They have a 446 OPS against him in those 8 starts, a 208 ERA, and a whip under 0.8. Game 3 went to Houston again, 5-2. Houston had 5 runs in the bottom of the 6th. Yainer Diaz had a 2-run single. Jeremy Pena had a 2-run triple. Cole Reagans got through 5 shutout and then didn't get an out in the 6th. 4 hits, 5 runs. He struck out 10, but you say freaking Kikuchi. 7 innings, 1 run, 12 Ks, and no walks. Astros fixed something with Mr. Kikuchi. Bobby Witt homered off Hector Neris. Game 4, 7-2 Houston. Bobby Witt homered off Hector Neris. 30th homer of the year for Bobby Witt. Yordan did it too. Multi-homer day, homers 29 and 30 for Yordan Alvarez. Ronel Blanco, 5 innings, no runs, 3 hits. Houston's freaking legit, folks.
Yeah. My takeaway was going to be talking about Yordan, but I mean, everybody knows that Yordan Alvarez is the absolute man. He's 5th in WRC plus this year among all hitters. We're looking at a 167 WRC plus, tied with Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and just 2 points ahead of Brent Rooker, who is ahead of Marcell Ozuna. Just letting everybody know the Rooker train is still rolling. I'm going to make my takeaway very simple. This felt like Big Brother.
Really?
This felt like, here's the better team. Like, this is what the Astros do. Royals are very good. But going into Minute Maid, I thought to myself, so here's the reason I say that. Because remember, it's my takeaway. It was my expectations for the series. I was watching this series, and in my own head, whether it's fair or not, are you legit? Can you go into Minute Maid and win the series? And what was the final tally of this series?
4 games to love.
So my expectations now for the Royals, you can't get swept in 4 games. You just can't. It's September now. We got a month left. Like, that was an opportunity to show the baseball world you are super legit. You can win on the road. You're just as good as the Astros. And they 4 games swept you. That's what it felt like to me. Did it not feel like that to you?
Yeah, I think our friends at Cespedes Family Barbecue call that a mopping. They mopped them instead of swept.
Yeah.
Mopped. 4-game sweep.
Yeah.
Like,
it's mean.
no.
It's like kind of because Royals fans are gonna be like, that's not fair. And I agree with you. I'm just letting you know that I had expectations for the Royals going in. I said I really want to see how they perform in a series like this at the end of August, September, when the going gets hot. We've heard about the home road splits. Can the Royals win on the road? 4-game sweep.
Right. Like, so part of me is saying, no, that's not fair. And it's not a little brother thing because every game felt tight. Like, really, every game at some point felt like, whoa, the Royals are totally hanging in here. For me, this was less of an indictment on Kansas City and less them losing validity in this whole hunt and more Houston fully announcing that they are back.
So that's the difference in our expectations.
Yeah. So
I've been the Astros are going to be fine. They're still the best team in the American League.
And I panicked a little bit.
Yeah. So that's just how we judged each team. Is I felt that the Astros were the clear prize in the American League, even better than the Yankees, better than the Orioles, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And that I needed to see the Royals go into Minute Maid and see how they did.
Yeah.
They fell not flat on their face, as you said. The games were tight, but they went 0-4. When you go 0-4 in that situation, I'm going to have a takeaway about it. It is what it is.
I totally understand that. I've got 2 more series here, and we'll jump to Baltimore and Colorado. We're going to speed run this series. Game 1, 5-3 Baltimore. Emmanuel Rivera and Brendan Rodgers homered. Nice. Emmanuel Rivera, welcome to the Baltimore Orioles. Albert Suarez, 7 innings, 2 earned. Brenton Doyle had the play of the month. The diving catch and then gunning down Jackson Holiday at third base. He's unfreaking believable.
He's such a good defender. It's insane. I mean, the way he covers ground out there in Coors,
it's some of the best defense that I've ever seen. I'm thinking back to Kiermaier's prime Rays days, and that's the Brenton Doyle that we're getting with more surface area to cover.
It almost looks like Buxton when he was covering ground with the Twins.
Yeah, but dude, like he's doing it every night.
I
That's the
know,
thing that Buxton didn't do was like do it
but
every.
his routes are so good.
He's
I mean, he's
perfect,
on it and he's so fast.
and he's got the
He's
best arm in baseball. He is the perfect center field defender.
yeah, in Coors especially with all that ground. I
Perfect.
mean, there's a couple others. Michael Ciani and Victor Scott, both of them in St.
Yeah.
Louis,
Yeah, but
PCA.
that's kind of a speed demon thing. I get
True.
PC, like Doyle has this
The all
blend.
around, yeah.
Yeah, it's just insane what this guy does. If you create a defender in a lab, it looks like Brenton Doyle.
Yeah.
Game two, 7-5 Colorado. The Rocks got two in the bottom of the eighth to win it. Tyler Kinley, his eighth save. Tyler Kinley might be, that next reliever that Colorado trades for, a couple prospects that end up giving you a fun year and a half. Craig Kimbrell allowed 2 runs in the eighth inning. Tony Taters with his 39th homer on the year. Eloy Jimenez's 6th homer on the year and his first as a Baltimore Oriole. Drew Romo had a double and 3 RBIs. Did you see the snafu he had with Patrick Lyons, our guy at
No, I didn't.
justbaseball.com? Does a great job covering the Rockies. By the way, if you're interested, go listen to the Rockies Insider. It's part of the Just Baseball network of podcasts. But Patrick was talking to Romo during post-game media availability and said, hey, you got the MVP chain post-game. And Romo thought he said chance instead of chain. And he was like, wait, like they were giving me MVP chance. Like, dude's been up 10 games and he was hitting like 220. So he laughed that off. It was a pretty fun one. But Romo was the guy in game 2 and the only Rocky win. Game 3 went to Baltimore. 4 for Baltimore in the top of the 4th. James McCann with a 2-run homer. Zach Eflin, 7 innings, a 1-run ball. He K'd 9. My takeaway was the Matt Holliday, Jackson Holliday first pitch we talked about off the top.
Yeah, I mean, it was good to see Zach Eflin come back. And I got a little bit of heat from this from Orioles fans for good reason. When I was talking about them in the top 10 World Series teams that we think can win,
yeah,
I kind of forgot Zach Eflin was coming back so soon. That's on me. That was bad analysis. Like, I just forgot about that. So I discounted the Orioles a little bit because I was really worried about the rotation. I didn't think that Eflin was going to be back in time to make a true impact. He's back, dominating in Coors Field. My fault, Orioles fans. And I also want to highlight Albert Suarez. I mean, the guy just keeps doing it. Just keeps doing it. Underlying metrics be damned.
Yeah, ask me when I'm going to believe it.
I mean, 4-seam cutter, changeup, curveball. I mean, 52% 4-seam, 20% cutter. 70% of what you're seeing from Albert Suarez is a 95-mile-an-hour fastball and an 86-mile-an-hour cutter. And the guy's got a 3.14 ERA. I don't know how he's doing it. I hope it continues. He's 34 years old. I mean, his last full season in Major League Baseball was in 2017, and he had a 5.12 ERA. I can't believe it. But at the same time, there are things in baseball that happens every day that I can't believe. So shout out Albert Suarez, man. He's been just awesome. And so important. Beyond just being good, so important for a team that's just been ravaged by injuries, especially in the rotation. So, I mean, what a godsend he's been.
No doubt, amigo. Last one from me is Mets White Sox. Again, we're going to speed run this series. Game 1 went to the Mets 5-1. Jesse Winker 3 for 4. JD Martinez with a 2-run homer. Tyler McGill 5 1/3, 5 1/3, 1 run, 5 hits, 6 Ks. Game 2 5-3 New York. Jesse Winker 3 hits again. Pete Alonso, Mark Vientos, multi-hit days. Alonso's 30th homer, Winker's 13th homer. Jose Quintana, revenge game. 5 innings, 1 earned. He K'd 6. Game 3, 2-0 Mets. The White Sox had 2 hits. Francisco Lindor's 29th homer. Garrett Crochet, 3 1/3, 3 hits, 1 run, 8 Ks, and no walks. Pitch limit be damned. He's going to be awesome for 3 1/3.
Yeah, sure.
Sure. Sean Manaea, 7 shutout, 2 hits, 5 Ks. Edwin Diaz struck out the side in order for the save. I have no Mets takeaways. They're beating up on the worst team ever. The White Sox need to go 9-15 in their final 24 games to avoid having the worst season in the modern era. That feels too lofty.
9-15. That would be like one of the White Sox best stretches of the season.
They were 4-22 in August.
Yeah, I mean, they could go 5-10
They could go
20
3-21 in their last 22.
easily. I mean, they're the worst team
Horrible.
I've ever seen.
Horrible.
Are they the worst professional team you've ever seen?
The New Jersey Nets had a terrible year where they won fewer than 10 games in the NBA. And I remember watching them and I'm like, this is so ridiculously bad. Also, not the Browns, the John Kitna quarterbacked Lions that went 0-16. That team was terrible. But in terms of baseball, this is the worst baseball team I've ever seen. And it's not close.
The thing is, in football, there's only 16 games. In basketball, too, there's not as many games. Like, to be this bad over 162 seasons, like, you can't even catch one team sleeping. You can't go on one run at all. I mean, this is the worst team ever.
Yeah.
They're going to set the record this year. It's depressing. I mean, if you're a White Sox fan, I'm sorry. But if you stay a White Sox fan after this, I mean, you got a heart of gold. I think all 29 other teams should rally behind White Sox fans right now. Just ask them how they're doing. Jack, how you don't even care anymore.
I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care.
The New Jersey Nets in 2010 were 12-70. Brooke Lopez averaged 19 a game. Devin Harris, Courtney Lee, Yi Jianlian were the 4 double-digit scorers.
Like, did the White Sox even have a Brooke Lopez adjacent guy?
No, because Luis Robert has a 670 OPS.
And Garrett Crochet goes 3 innings now.
The best OPS in Sunday's lineup was Gavin Sheets at 676. That was the best OPS in that lineup.
And he doesn't even play defense. Like, he's there to hit.
Miserable. We're going to get to better baseball in a moment. Before that, quick break.
All right, my time for the series, and we're going to start in the Bronx. Cardinals, Yankees, game 1. Yankees win 6-3. Austin Wells drove in 4 of the 6 Yankees runs with 2 bombs. The first gave the Yankees a 4-2 lead, and then the next separated from a 4-3 lead. Marcus Stroman was good in terms of preventing earned runs. He only gave up 2 in 7 innings, but he did have 9 hits. But his ERA is down to 3.81. For the Cardinals, Arenado went yard. Goldie had 3 hits, but it just wasn't enough. But it certainly was enough in game 2 as they win 6-5. Brendan Donovan broke the 1-1 tie in the third with a 3-run jack. Anthony Volpe went 2 for 4 with 2 runs driven in, but it just wasn't enough. As Kyle Gibson goes 7 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 6 Ks, which is a very good stat line. But this was the first win for a Cardinals pitcher in Yankee Stadium since Bob Gibson went 10 innings strong in game 5 of the 1964 World Series. So 64 to 2024, 60 years was the last time a Cardinals starting pitcher won a game in Yankee Stadium. And the next one, his long-lost son, Kyle Gibson.
I was going to say no relation between Kyle Gibson and Bob Gibson.
We aren't sure. Maybe there's a special level of dog in the Gibson name.
Yeah, maybe.
Win in the Bronx. And then they definitely won in the Bronx game 3. Game 3, Cardinals win 14-7. It was a 5-hit day for Jordan freaking Walker. Love saying that out loud. He had a home run, scored 4 runs, 3 RBIs, 4 singles. Cardinals got out to a 7-2 lead after 5, led by Walker, but also Lucan Baker hit a home run as well. Stanton hit a home run early, and the Yankees rallied in the 5th and the 6th to tie it back up. Nootbaar cleared the bases with a double in the 7th, and then it got really ugly for the Yankees. Bad defense. Nootbaar then homered again in the 9th. And the Cardinals win 14-7. Nestor, not great. 4 innings, 5 earned. ERA is up to 4.08. Cardinals win and move to 69-68. Yankees fall to 79-58.
The Kyle Gibson, Bob Gibson thing was my takeaway from this. The other thing was, thank God Jordan Walker had that. Like, if there was going to be any redeeming thing about the 2024 season, have it be a 5-hit day at Yankee Stadium. And I love that you ID'd that, because even against the Yankees, I know that it can grind your gears when guys are successful against the New York Yankees, but you can't help but feel awesome for Jordan Walker.
No, I'm finding myself rooting for him against my own team. Like, I'm wishing nothing but success for the guy.
With Jordan Walker, like, you're totally wishing for success for this guy, because it has been such an arduous season for him.
It hasn't been fair. It's not been fair to him.
I know. And you mentioned first win for a Cardinals pitcher at Yankee Stadium in 60 years. I love this new schedule format.
Oh, I
And
love it.
I was having this conversation at the ballpark in Indy over the weekend, and I was talking about how every team is going to see everybody else, and it just depends on where it happens. I love it. I am sure that Otani had something to do with that, not him mandating that it happens. I'm just saying that every fan base wants to see their favorite team play Shohei Otani. But the fact that we can get Yankees Cardinals and Marlins Mariners and Royals Dodgers, these are things that never happen. And I love that it's happening.
I agree. But I love the interleague aspect. I love that I get to watch different players play different teams all
No,
the time.
no doubt.
I didn't really have any takeaways for the Yankees. I mean, I watched the series and I was obviously pissed off that the Cardinals are beating our ass, but it wasn't one of those things where it's like, oh, well, then this guy,
Yeah, you'll survive.
whatever. It was not a great series from the Yankees. Good series from the Cardinals, but the Cardinals are just, especially with the Cubs taking this lead, like it's been a lot of mediocrity for the Cardinals this season. The Yankees are still a game up in the division, so you know, one of those series. Let's
Yeah.
move to Padres versus Rays. Game one, Padres beat the piss out of the Rays 13-5. They got out to a 7-0 lead on a Machado home run and 4 RBIs before the top of the second inning. After the top of the second inning, excuse me. Rays closed the gap in the second, highlighted by a Yandy Diaz home run. David Peralta and Xander Bogaerts for the Padres added home runs in the fourth and the ninth inning. Taj Bradley, though, jeez, 2 1/3, 8 earned, 2 Ks. Taj Bradley is the ultimate domination factory or just getting blown to bits. It's not really a command thing. It's just if he doesn't have the fastball command, he just gets tattooed. And in game two, the Rays did the tattooing, winning 11-4. Jake Cronenworth for the Padres started the game with a 2-run home run, but the Rays take the lead after 2 innings, highlighted by a Junior Caminero 3-run home run. That dude's a freak. Never relinquished the lead, just added on. Rays win 11-4. Randy Vasquez, horrible. 4 1/3, 9 earned to be respectful. 11 hits. Shane Baz, much better. 5 innings, 2 hits, 2 earned. 5 Ks, ERA 2.349. Game three, banger of a game. Padres win 4-3. Jackson Merrill started the scoring with his 21st home run. Rays tied it back up in the sixth, but it was on a bases loaded hit by pitch when Dylan Cease loaded the bases, a double play, which scored 1, and a wild pitch. That's how they got their 3 runs. Padres deserved to win and did. Xander Bogaerts sac fly to take the lead. Cease and Pepia both allowed 3 earned run each. Padres win and move to 78-61. Rays fall to 67-69.
You felt the other side of the sword with Dylan Cease in that one, where it was a bases loaded hit by pitch and a wild pitch. That is the Dylan Cease experience, where he looks like a Cy Young winner for 28 starts out of 32 he makes. And then for 4, it's like, dude, the strike zone's here.
Yeah.
Like, find that. So that's what that is. I was also like, weird takeaway, but I was kind of taken aback because I was checking the scores on Sunday afternoon, and I saw that Padres Rays was in a delay on Sunday. And I was like, they're in a dome. Are we having issues? Is there something that I should know about? It was a Hall of Fame ceremony, a Rays Hall of Fame ceremony for the crime dog, Fred McGriff. So congratulations to him. And I was just like, why are we in a delay? And then I opened Twitter and I was like, oh, that's why. I feel like they prepped for that. And maybe the speech ran long. I'm not sure. But yeah, man, Merrill at 21 homers, he should win it.
I think he should win it too. But I didn't have a ton of takeaways from the series again. I'm sorry. I just didn't really. It was kind of like the Rays are playing mediocre baseball. The Padres came in and did their job. They got blown out in one game. There was a blowout in the first game, and then the next one was close. It's just showing why the Padres bullpen is so damn good. Like,
yeah,
it is what it is.
My other one was the very emotional Junior Caminero talking about meeting Manny Machado, who was his favorite player growing up.
So glad you brought that up in the jersey swap too.
The jersey swap and Machado being clearly touched when he was interviewed about meeting Caminero. That was awesome. And that must be weird for Manny Machado to be at the point now where the top prospect in all of baseball, according to Aram and JustBaseball.com, like the fact that the number one prospect in the game, his guy growing up, the one guy he loved and wanted to meet was you, Manny Machado, the guy that I watched kick a ball into foul territory in Baltimore and make the craziest play I've ever seen. Like, Machado went right behind Harper, dude. And we are watching this guy that may be contending for MVPs in the next couple years say that he grew up idolizing Manny Machado. That was an I feel old moment, but that had to be an I am so touched by this moment for Manny Machado.
Yeah, almost the basketball equivalent. Like it gave me Anthony Edwards, Kevin Durant type of vibes, where it's like the next up and coming guy talks about how this player is his absolute favorite, modeled the game after. I'm sure it's the same way, right? Junior Caminero playing a lot of third base too, probably wants to be Machado the defender and the hitter. And if he has a career like Manny Machado, he is doing just fine. Because Manny Machado, again, even this season, I mean, he's just proving why he's, I think, a future Hall of Famer.
I think so too.
All right, next series, we got the Blue Jays taking on the Twins in Minnesota. Game one, Twins won in a low-scoring game. Carlos Santana RBI single, and Willie Castro's sac fly was the only offense on either side because Pablo Lopez was dialed. 7 2/3, 6 hits, 0 earned, 0 walks, 3 Ks. ERA is down to 4.05. The guy's been locked in lately, which is so helpful for the Twins. And Gosman was still good, 5 2/3, only 2 earned runs allowed. But when your team doesn't score, what are you supposed to do? Game two, they scored. 15-0 win for the Blue Jays. They had a 7-0 lead after the first inning, highlighted by home runs from Dalton Varsho and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. They had an 11-0 lead after 3 innings, highlighted by Addison Barger home run, 12-0 lead after 6 innings. Will Wagner hit a home run, and then they scored 3 more and a bunch more hits. They just dominated. And Jose Barrios, right? We think about the offense when we think of a 15-0 game. Barrios coming into Minnesota against that offense, his former team, 6 innings, 3 hits, 0 earned, 5 Ks. But Zebby Matthews was the complete opposite. 2 innings, 9 earned, 10 hits. ERA coming in was a modest 3.5, 4, whatever it was. Now it's at 7.41. That was a big welcome to the big league start for Zebby Matthews. But we move to game 3. Can the Twins win the series? Well, it didn't start out great. Ernie Clement started the scoring with a home run. Now, Carlos Santana tied it up, but the Blue Jays added 2 in the 8th to take the lead. But then Royce Lewis stepped to the plate. 3-run home run in the bottom of the 8th against Chad Green to win it. His 6th go-ahead home run this year, which is just absurd because the man has played 58 games. Also, shout out Bailey Ober for bouncing back. 6 innings, 1 hit, 1 earned, 8 Ks. Twins win and move to 74-62. Blue Jays fall to 67-72.
So whenever I'm on Fangraphs, I go to Isaac Paredes and Josh Naylor, and I just check. I went on Fangraphs to grab Vladdy's real-time WRC Plus, but update for you.
Oh,
WRC
yeah. Oh, yeah. How are we doing here?
Tight. WRC Plus is very tight. Paredes at a 118, Naylor at a 119.
So that's not that tight. Naylor's winning.
Sure. Naylor is at 2 WAR flat, 2.0. Paredes is at 2.9.
Yeah, I mean, Paredes plays third. It's going to help, which is kind of cheating, which means I have an excuse, which is sick for me. And what's Isaac Paredes' WRC plus since going to Chicago?
Brutal. So
actually, I don't like doing that. I don't like I don't want him to perform badly. I want him to play well. I felt myself being an asshole. I'm like smiling over here. Look at my bet. Look at the downfall. Shut up, Peter.
Look at my units.
Yeah,
I deploy units.
Shut up. Shut up. We'll just see what it is at the very end. I'm rooting for Isaac Paredes, obviously.
Yeah, I'm just doing the Vladdy live look on the WRC Plus leaderboard.
Yeah, he's Judge fifth, I just said.
You know, 6th.
Or 6th. He's tied with didn't we just say it?
Oh, yeah.
He's tied with Jordan.
Yeah. Good call. But Vladdy, man, like Vladdy's tracking for a 5-win season. He's got 4.
I mean, he's amazing. You know what he did? He just lifted the ball. Just wasn't grounding out on the first pitch. He wasn't swinging at 2-0 sliders and grounding out to second. Oh, it was 105 ground out. Congrats. It was a ground out. Now those are 105 mile an hour bullets into the outfield, and he's just so locked in.
It's just so fun to look at the WRC Plus leaderboard because Judge is 40 points clear of Soto. Like Judge at 222, Soto 182. And then you see NYY stacked 1-2. Bobby Witt, Shohei Ohtani, and then Jordan and Vladdy. Like that has sex appeal.
Yeah, I really, really like this top 10 this year. Judge, Soto, Witt, Ohtani, Alvarez, Vladdy, Brent Rooker, Ozuna, Gunnar, Ketel Marte. That's a good
and then
top
you got
10.
Devers, Harper, Jaron Duran right after that.
Just loaded.
It's really cool.
Corey Seager, sneaky, awesome again. All right, let's talk Brewers Reds. Game 1 of the doubleheader, Brewers win 5-4 in 10 innings. There was a 3-1 lead after 2 innings for the Brewers, highlighted by a Willie Adames home run. But a 3-1 lead by the Reds. Willie Adames hit the home run. Santiago Espinal for the Reds hit a home run. Ellie and TJ Friedl had RBIs as well. William Contreras home run in the 4th to narrow that lead. Sal Frelick 2-run single to take the lead. India home run to tie it. Sal Frelick double play to score the run was the difference in the 10th. I didn't say that very well, but basically it was a lot of back and forth here, highlighted by a bunch of home runs from really good players. Game 2, this one is much less complicated. Brewers win 14-0. Contreras, Hoskins, Mitchell, Adames all homered. DL Hall. DL freaking Hall is huge. I mean, if he can be a guy, if we're talking about the Guardians adding guys, adding DL Hall back to this rotation is massive. 7 innings, 4 hits, no earned, 5 Ks. And Rhett Lauder made his major league debut, and he was perfectly fine. The command wasn't there. 4 walks, but 4 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned in Great American Ballpark against that Brewers offense. That's a pretty good offense. And the fact that they scored 10 in the 9th inning. 6 was off Luke Maile, but shout out Rhett Lauder making his debut with 6 strikeouts. Game 3, Brewers win again, 5-4. Willie Adames had a 3-run home run to start it off. Ahmed Rosario, 6th inning home run to make it 4-4, but Jackson Churrio's home run in the 9th was the difference. Also want to shout out Blake Perkins for making an insane catch on a Noelvi Marte. Would have been a home run that would have given the Reds the lead in the 6th. And game 4, though, Reds did not get swept. They win 4-3 in 11 innings. Jake Fraley started the scoring with a homer. Willie Adames ties it up with a home run again, his 28th of the year. Santiago Espinal, again, infield single drove in the game-winning run in the 11th inning. Tobias Myers, 5 2/3, 8 hits, 2 earned, 4 walks, 7 Ks. The line is okay. He allowed 2 earned, but I was watching that game. It didn't look good, but he got out of trouble. Good for him. Reds do win, but the Brewers win the series and move to 80-57. Reds fall to 65-73. I think the problem with Tobias Myers is what I'm noticing, like that fastball doesn't have the same amount of life, and he's not commanding the balls as well. And when that happens, like he looks a lot worse than he was when he was on his heater. And like he did only give up 2 earned, but like 4 walks, 8 hits, like there was runners the whole time, and he just got out of it against a Reds offense that had been really, really bad they've been bad for like a while now. I mean, their whole team's hurt.
He has, and I don't know if this is a term, if not, I'm coining it. He has some horseshoe starts, and Andrew Abbott has horseshoe starts. What I mean by horseshoe starts is that he might have a horseshoe up his ass on some days where he's running into a lot of good batted ball luck, and he's stranding a lot of base runners. And that is like, it scares me, man. Like those kind of guys just scare me. And I appreciate that. I appreciate the high left on base guys, but man, like you can only play with fire for so long. And I feel like Tobias Myers plays with fire a lot more than your typical good big league starter.
Yeah, we're just looking at a 2.99 ERA and a 4.24 expected ERA. Like his hard hit rate is below average. He doesn't keep the ball on the ground. Like he throws a lot of strikes, which is good, but the stuff is just diminishing a little bit, which is fine. He's thrown 114 innings. This is his first full season. Like he wasn't expected to be the guy either. So that's why getting DL Hall looking like he did is massive for this Brewers team, because I just don't know if it's going to be Tobias Myers starting game 3 for the Brewers now. Like, you got Freddie, you got Colin Ray. You might just go with Savali because he's the veteran. And if DL Hall is performing better at the moment, that's maybe what it looks like for the Brewers in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think so.
We'll see. All right, let's keep going down. Dodgers versus Diamondbacks, banger of a series. Tons of runs. Game 1, Dodgers win 10-9. Freddie Freeman started the scoring with a 2-run home run. Corbin Carroll and Eugenio Suarez homered, but so did Will Smith and Ohtani. D-backs came back down 10-5 in the 9th to make it 10-9, but it just wasn't quite enough. The bad news, though, Kershaw, 1 inning, 3 earned, exited. I saw it was a big toe injury. I don't really know what it is. We can talk about that maybe after I recap the series. You want to talk about it now? Do you got anything?
No, yeah, we can talk about it after you recap the series.
Game 2, Dodgers win 8, or excuse me, and Gallen also 5 innings, 5 earned, 7 Ks, not great, but it's a 10-9 type of game. Game 2, Dodgers win 8-6. Ohtani, Betts, Freeman back-to-back home runs to start the game. Every Dodger fan's dream. But what big media won't tell you about is that Corbin Carroll hit it inside the Parker to lead off for the Diamondbacks. And after that first inning, D-backs had a 4-3 lead. But here's the thing, though. Dodgers stole it right back. Maybe that's why big media didn't really get into it. They didn't have time to. The Dodgers stole the lead right back in the second. RBIs from Ohtani and Freddie Freeman. Now, Lourdes Gurriel Jr. hit a home run in the third. Tie game in the ninth, but Tommy Edman had a 2-run single to take the lead. Gavin Stone and Merrill Kelly, both not great. Both went 5 innings. Stone allowed 5. Kelly allowed 4 earned runs, but the D-backs get the revenge in a big way in game 3, winning 14-3. D-backs jumped on Robleski. They had a 9-0 lead after 3 innings, highlighted by homers from Randall Grichuk and Eugenio Suarez. And then it was kind of one of those games where there weren't any more home runs, no big highlight plays, just hits and hits and hits. Brandon Pfaadt was good. 5 2/3, 8 hits, 3 earned, 10 Ks. I mean, 10 Ks, but a lot of hits. One of those type of games. Robleski was just, I don't know why Dave Roberts left him in. I guess, I mean, just to give the
Because
bullpen a
it's
break because it was so
September
bad.
1st. It's September 1st, and you
Yeah,
just
we need to
you're
save
the
this bullpen.
Dodgers. Yeah, you pack it in that day. It's like, oh well, we're down by so much so early. If you can be the sacrificial lamb and just eat some time for us, that's nice.
I mean, it was just a really, really tough matchup for Robleski. He throws his fastball, it seems like every single pitch. D-backs are the number 1 team in baseball against fastballs.
Yeah.
One of those games where they ran into a bunch of them, 10 earned. Now, Dodgers won 2 of 3, but game 4 of the series, Eduardo Rodriguez versus Jack Flaherty is on Monday. So of these 3 games, Dodgers win, quote unquote, and move to 82-55. D-backs fall to 77-60.
So the Kershaw thing. I wanted to get these quotes in front of me. Left big toe pain. He landed on the injured list with bone spurs in his left big toe. Lefty pitcher. What foot is the left big toe on?
Push off.
Yeah. Dave Roberts said, quote, he had no legs. Kershaw said, quote, let me pull this up to make sure. Kershaw said, quote, I couldn't find a comfortable way to push off on my toe. When you have no legs, it's really hard to pitch. Really hard.
He's got no back. I mean,
he's got no back. Like he had shoulder issues at one point. Now it's a toe thing. Apparently, he's been dealing with this toe thing off and on for a few years, according to Dave Roberts. Some days it's fine. Other days it's not. This day was really bad, and it landed him on the injured list. Just sucks to see Glasnow and Kershaw on the IL at the same time that Yamamoto is making a rehab. Like when Miller gets back and Buehler is back. Like, just I want to see the complete product. We're just not getting the opportunity to see the complete product. And if the complete product comes on October 5th, sick, awesome. I'm excited for that. But I was looking forward to this regular season. I was looking forward to see the best team money could buy.
Baseball gods are so damn cruel.
They're so
what has Clayton Kershaw ever done to you? Baseball gods, pieces of shit.
Yeah, brutal.
I mean, just sucks, dude. I mean, I just want to watch him pitch. Like he's the greatest of our generation. I just want to watch the man be healthy.
Now, on the other side of that, it's not an entirely terrible weekend because Ohtani, Betts, Freeman went back to back to back, and that's hilarious. And
they're so good, dude. It's crazy.
It's a joke. That's the thing. It's like every time you frown, if you're a Dodgers fan, there's something else to make you smile. It's like, oh, this guy's hurt, but Ohtani's tracking for 50-50. Oh, this guy's hurt, but Ohtani's tracking for 50-50. You get that reminder all the time.
So on BetMGM, Ohtani, they put up a line for 50-50. Ohtani's plus 105 if you go 50-50. I kind of want to take it.
Yeah, why not?
Right?
It's not even like you don't even need to do analysis on that. That's just fun.
No, I mean, yeah. Well, Fangraphs has him at 49-49. Oh. I don't know. I think he gets 50-50. I mean, I think he's just going to go for it. That's the difference too.
It's sick.
Competitor. Yeah. All right, let's keep it moving. Unless you got any more takeaways.
Nothing.
Marlins Giants. Game 1 was a pitcher's duel. And it was exactly the pitchers that you thought it would be in a pitcher's duel. Blake Snell, 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned, 8 Ks. And Adam Aller, 6 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 8 Ks, outdueled Blake Snell, Adam freaking Aller. But the Giants win because Matt Chapman had a bases clearing double in the 8th, and that was the difference. Game 2, Marlins win 4-3. Round of applause for our dude Griffin freaking Conine. First home run was a 2-run shot into McCovey Cove. Connor Norby home run as well. Michael Conforto hit a home run, but it just wasn't enough as Griffin freaking Conine leads the Marlins to a 4-3 win. Edward Cabrera pitched great. 5 1/3, 6 hits, 1 earned, 3 Ks. I mean,
But he didn't lead him. He didn't lead him. Guess
he didn't lead him.
him.
But to be fair to Edward Cabrera, that was a great start for him.
Yeah,
I mean,
but like at the end of the day, he was a follower.
yeah, Griffin Conine led them to a 4-3 win. Like, we're not joking that he did. Game 3, Marlins win 7-5. This is one of the most shocking upsets, I think, of the year. And the reason I say that is you got Logan Webb at home, who has been like the best pitcher in baseball at Oracle for like a half decade now. When you get Logan Webb at Oracle, you're probably going to win. But the Marlins freaking beat them. Giants got a lead, highlighted by Mike Yastrzemski home run in the first. But the Marlins battle, and they take a 4-2 lead on a Kyle Stowers 3-run home run. Giants retake the lead, but the Marlins just keep fighting. And it took a team effort in the 6th and the 7th, and they win the game. Logan Webb, 6 innings, 6 earned at home. I couldn't believe it. Marlins win and move to 51-86. Giants fall to 68-70. That, my takeaway is, I'm sorry, Giants. Stamp. Season over. Can't lose that series against the Marlins.
Yeah, can't lose it. Griffin Conine, a multi-hit day against Logan Webb. Stand up, show out. Why not? Can you pronounce the starting pitcher's last name for the Miami Marlins on Sunday?
No. You know why? I know I can't. Probably should have mentioned him in this write-up. I didn't want to embarrass myself, so thank you for bringing it up. I didn't include it because I had no idea how to pronounce that name.
Darren McCacken. What's up, dude? McCacken.
Shout out Darren McCacken.
Kent Emanuel. You say everybody's a former Indianapolis Indian. Kent Emanuel, former Indianapolis Indian.
I do, because everyone is a former Indianapolis Indian at some point.
Xavier Curry, 5 up, 5 down.
Okay.
Mike Bauman, John McMillan, Calvin Fauché.
A lot of arms back
there.
Sure. That's how you beat Logan Webb. Get that combination with Griffin Conine, Kyle Stowers, and just go
Darren
in.
McCacken gives you the front 4. Why not?
The Giants fans, can we be real here? Like, that was, I mean, you lose a Logan Webb start to the Marlins. I mean, the season isn't going well. This has been, dude, if I'm a Giants fan, I mean, there's fans of teams that I just feel so bad for. Like, the Giants are near the top of the list because you keep losing the big time free agent, but like you still are trying and then just sitting, because I hate mediocrity more than anything. So to sit there in purgatory with this team right now, and Jung-Hoo Lee, you get him from the KBO, and you're hoping that he's the next guy, and then he just gets hurt immediately after he flashes some good things. It's just like, and Matt Chapman's having a good year and you're wasting it. It's just shitty. I don't know how else to say it.
I understand, but the mid-level guys are going to be fun, and they dominate the mid-level. Like, I love the mid-level class this year.
All right, let's move to Mariners Angels. Game 1, Mariners win 9-5. It was 5-2 after the first inning, highlighted by a Mitch Garver 2-run double and a Taylor Ward home run. Julio Rodriguez hit a home run in the 4th. Mickey Moniak and Brandon Drury left the park in the 5th, but it just wasn't enough. George Kirby. I know the Mariners won 9-5, but he's been terrible. I can say that because he's been amazing for most of his career, and he's going through just a really tough stretch right now.
You okay?
Yeah, I got a hiccup in the middle of that Kirby sentence. 5 2/3, 5 earned, 6.84 ERA in the month of August. And Samuel Aldegheri. How'd I do?
Yeah, great.
Samuel Aldegheri, first Italian-born pitcher in Major League history. 5 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned, 3 Ks, little gabagool on that. Shout out Samuel Aldegheri. Game 2. Gabagool. Game 2. Angels win 5-4. This game was nuts. Justin Turner homered to start the scoring. Joe Adell for the Angels answers with a home run of his own. Then Justin Turner hits another home run, and J-Rod 2-run single makes the lead 4-1 Mariners. Joe Adell then homers again. So Joe Adell and Justin Turner, through like the first 5 innings, both have 2 home runs.
Check up.
Then Mickey Moniak ties the game with a home run. and then Mickey Moniak wins it with a walk-off home run. So 3 guys in the same game had 2 home runs, and the game ended 5-4. Just like there was 6 home runs, and the game ended 5-4. Brian Wu, 6 1/3, 4 earned, 3 Ks, not great. Tyler Anderson, not great either. 4 innings, 4 earned. Game 3, Angels win 3-2. Taylor Ward started the scoring with a home run, but Luke Raley for the Mariners answers right back with a home run of his own. And an Anthony Rendon 2-run single in the 5th gave the Angels the lead, and they never looked back. Why? Because Caden Dana, the 20-year-old for the Angels, made his debut and was fantastic. 6 innings, 2 hits, 2 earned. 4 walks, not great, but 4 strikeouts. Major league debut. Good for you, Caden Dana. The ripe age of 20. Angels win and move to 57-80. Mariners fall to 69-68. Mariners fans, we got to win series against the Angels. We just got to.
Have to. This is also the most palatable that the Angels have been in quite some time. Now, I will say Ron Washington asking for a suicide squeeze and then hanging the player out to dry. Somebody tagged me on Twitter. Like they saw the snippet of the quote from Wash just putting a player out there on the stake.
They
And
knew Jack would love
yeah,
this.
just tagged me. And I'm like, yeah, man. Like
Do love it.
I hate that guy berates players all that like that dude points so many fingers. It's
Yeah,
unbelievable. He's so not a manager anymore, dude.
I know. You just cannot. You cannot talk to your players like this. And the old school manager would call guys out, routinely. And I get it. And that's old school baseball. And I'm sure there's a lot of listeners of the podcast who vehemently disagree with what we're saying about Ron Washington.
I'm sure.
But in
What
this day and age, it is what it is, folks. We know it. You listening, you could be the most diehard old baseball fan. You know me, I'm always on Baseball Reference looking at 1860s baseball or 1890s, more like it.
right.
But it is the way it is. You can't call players like that, especially in the age of social media where it gets everywhere. It creates a stir that's just bad for the locker room anyway. It wasn't like in the papers in the 70s and 80s. I don't mean to date myself, but in the local papers,
Press
rarely
clippings.
national news. But Ron Washington says one thing and it's on everybody's Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, whatever social media page you're on in a second. It's just we live in a different age where if you're going to berate your players, everybody's going to know about it. It's not just going to be localized in Anaheim, and people are going to freak out, and then that creates bad culture, which is bad baseball. Like it is what it is.
K Dog Louder goes sick profile picture. K Dog, like he tweeted it at me. Jack Lopez, 31-year-old guy's been around the block. It's just a little roller right in front of it. And Rod Washington said this, just to give you the exact quote about Jack Lopez, just putting the suicide squeeze down right in front of home plate. Quote, he's supposed to get that ball out toward the pitcher. If you notice the technique that he used, he tried to deaden the ball. I don't know what that was about. I did that because I felt I had the right guy in the right spot to get a quick run, and I did. He just didn't execute. Again, it's just like,
nobody's
what are
going to
we
hear that quote. Like Ron Washington, read the room. Nobody's going to hear that and be like, oh, you're so right. You are a good manager.
Also, you're
No one's
not
going to
10
think
games
that.
over 500, dude. You're
Yeah.
worse than the Oakland A's. Like, let's
Yeah.
calm down here. So appreciate you tagging me in that. But getting back to the point, this is the most palatable that the Angels have been in a long time, or I want to say long time. This is the most palatable that the Angels have been this year because we know Neto is certified good now.
Yeah.
He's proven he's a legit good shortstop and a borderline top 10 shortstop in the game. He's 2020 this year, if you didn't know.
I'm pretty sold on Ohapi at catcher.
Exactly. Ohapi certified good. Shawnoel, I'm not going to say sucks.
We can't say certified anything. We're still finding out, but that's okay.
That's the thing. You can't say certified bad. Like you're still learning about Shawnoel. If you run out Dana Aldegari, I'm watching. I'm pretty interested. I know Kohanowitz, like his first 6 starts haven't gone great, but there's something there, man. You and I have talked about that. Like
there's players in Anaheim. It's not just this barren wasteland crap.
So like giving me Dana,
yes,
who had nothing left to prove in Double-A and just bypassing the PCL, that's fine with me. Giving me Aldegari, is it rushed? I think so, but it's fun to watch. So like let's.
I agree. It makes the Angels palatable. I agree. It's like it's so funny. As soon as they're like getting real bad and starting to play like they're young guys, like they're more entertaining to watch. Like I don't need to see Anthony Rendon ever again. I know he's still playing and I know he gave them the 3-2 lead, but like those guys, I don't think Angels fans are getting up to the TV to watch. But to watch Caden Dana's debut? I think they are. All right, let's get to our last series. Braves versus go ahead.
Real quick contract check on Anthony Rendon. Next year, how much money is Anthony Rendon making?
34 million, probably.
38.6.
Oh, I undersold
How
it.
much money is he making in 26?
40.
38.6. How much money is he making in 27?
38.6.
0. That's when he hits the open market.
Okay.
Trick
I wonder if
question.
anyone's going to sign him. Game 1, Phillies win 5-4. Braves got out to a 4-0 lead, though, highlighted by 2 home runs from Matt Olson. But Brandon Marsh hits a 3-run home run to make it 4-3. And Nick Castellanos hit that 2-run home run to put the dagger in the Braves' hearts to take the lead. Game 2, Braves win 7-2. They got it back. Braves get out to a 4-0 lead again, highlighted by home runs from Orlando Arcia and Sean Murphy. Bryson Stott homered to make the lead 4-1. But the Braves would not be denied. Arcia homered again and RBI doubles from Matt Olson and Gio Urshela. JT Realmuto homer just wasn't enough, and Reynaldo Lopez did it again. 6 innings, 1 earned, 6 Ks. ERA is at 2.00. Unbelievable season from him. Ranger Suarez, 4 innings, 4 earned, 6 Ks. He'll bounce back, though. He's fine. And in game 3, the Phillies shut out the Braves. And Mundo Sosa, Trey Turner home runs. Sosa also had an RBI double. Wheeler was the man in this game. 7 innings, 4 hits, no earned, 7 Ks, ERA to 2.63. And Max Fried was solid, but when your team doesn't score, what are you supposed to do? 7 innings, 3 earned, 4 Ks, ERA at 3.52. And we have a score check for Sunday Night Baseball where I am on the Braves money line. And it's 2-2 in the bottom of the 10th. Cody Clemens is up against Raisel Iglesias. Should we? I mean, it's a 2-2 count. Bottom 10, Cody Clemens against Raisel Iglesias.
You got this. Come on, do the play-by-play off the game cast. You got
play-by-play off. Well, nothing's out. I can't commentate on nothing.
Well, the first pitch to Clemens was a slider low and inside. He kicked
I like that
on the left side.
Yeah, see, this is your job, but this is not my game. This is your game.
Next one was a 4-seamer at 95.3, a little bit subdued from Raisel, although he's been 95, 96.
Yeah, that's around where he is.
That was off the plate away, so in the righty batter's box on the chalk. Pitch number 3, 95.6. He leveled up a little bit. That was a called strike on the outside corner. And then a slider inside that was taken, or was fouled away, pardon. And then I see in play, outs. That is a ground out to Matt Olson. They're going to the 11th.
See, this is why you're the best. And hopefully everybody enjoyed the weekend. Jack, get the fingers ready. The weekend roundup. Hopefully everybody enjoyed it. And if you did, rate and review Spotify and Apple Podcasts. 5 stars it is the best way to support this show without spending a dime. We're also hitting that subscribe button on YouTube. Hitting the like is also very, very helpful for us. If you've been enjoying all these videos, just hit the like button. It really, really helps. And if you do want to spend a little bit of coin, maybe get a little left over. I don't know. But you could get yourself some Just Baseball merch. Of course, I'm rocking my Just Baseball rope hat, the best hat in America. Jack's rocking nothing, hates the company. Don't be like Jack. Go get your Just Baseball merch in the episode description. Of course, we'll be back tomorrow with Jack McMullen. I am Peter Apple. And with that, thank you, everybody.